Hey everyone, we are meant to be free of our identity with thoughts, with thinking that we are the reactions that we have, the emotions that we have. We think, yes, it's a tool. It is a wonderful tool. I don't think anybody should be saying anything bad about thinking in general, except when we believe that we are our thoughts. And since we are not, what that's doing is that's covering up our access to our inner information, to our intuition, to know who we really are, to know what is our aligned path, to know what is a solid decision, which direction to go, so we can feel fulfilled and not confused and lost and stuck. And just the whole process of getting sort of stuck in the loop. Because yes, if you believe that if your thought tells you nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Okay, well, let's follow that through. So you think no one wants to hear what you have to say, which if you believe that, then you actually probably feel a sort of pain. You're hurt by that, like you're sensing whatever emotion you attach to it, but like you're not good enough. So then when you feel like you're not good enough, then you might have the thought again, or why am I even doing this job? Because nobody wants to hear what I have to say, or no, my friends don't want to hear what I have to say, so why should I be friends with them? So you can see how that if you actually believe that, then you're going to continue being on this loop. That's just one example. So if you can learn how to be out of that imagined sense of who you are, because yes, I'm going to tell you right now, you made it up. It's all in your head. And you are the love and light. You are the vast expanse of a spiritual being that you have access to, meaning you can experience yourself. It's a better way to say it. You can experience yourself as the essence and bliss of who you are, and still have thoughts, but instead of believing them, you start to notice how crazy they are. Like, you just have these random thoughts and like laugh at them. So it's not like you have no thoughts when we say you detach from your thoughts and emotions. You're not having any feelings. You are. You're having the full range of feelings as a human being. But instead of getting caught up in them, you are able to relax behind them. You are able to, well, as best as you can, because of course, nobody's perfect. And, we definitely can catch ourselves, my personal mirror teacher is my husband, so he might say something, push your buttons, and I might sense an old reaction. I still might react from that, but then I immediately am like, whoa, why am I doing that? And I can pause or stop myself way sooner than I could 20 years ago. Now, I say all these things, I talk about this because first kind of understanding, even if you can't do this right away, even if that's not your state of existence, I want you to know that it's possible. So when you understand this whole process, then you can start to see how, okay, yes, if I could slow down, quiet my overthinking, second guessing, triggered reactions, because that's usually linked to, something that, like an old wound. If you could sort of pause in the midst of that, then you can see how, if you practice that and then you start to be able to sense, yes, okay, I'm not my thoughts, you will find that you are beginning to allow that old stuff to finally release itself. If you continue to resist those emotions instead of allowing them to be there and noticing them and trying to relax behind them, then you can see how this process of dissolving, sort of the root cause of all of this, in my point of view, there's one or two or three root causes that causes all of your overthinking, all of your negative self-talk, your things that need to be healed. Because when that is starting to become healed, you're more relaxed and calm, but you also start to become more clear. And you can sense and know more about who you really are, which is not this mental emotional loop and is not your thoughts. So in essence, if you think about it as sort of like, I kind of describe them as old energy balls locked in your body, because you, especially from childhood, like you couldn't deal with certain things, couldn't cope. It doesn't even have to be anything that bad. You just didn't understand. You felt hurt by it. And so you took that on. And then you protected yourself from it because you didn't want to feel that way, because you felt unsafe. So as an adult, we don't have to protect ourselves anymore from that. But now we're kind of stuck with it. We're kind of stuck with those old energy balls and those that triggers this loop. And so we have to find a way to allow that stuff to dissolve. The more, it's like you're uncovering your true self, clearing out these old blocks. When you start to clear out those old emotional blocks, then you start to also slow down and quiet the negative self-talk. So by doing that, this is when you start to be able to see what's a soul-led decision. This is where you start to understand what is actually meaningful for you. And then the ultimate reward for all this work is you begin to understand what inner peace is. Your days are more residing in inner peace. And then you get to see how powerful you really are. So now you recognize your power. And then you can stand in your power. And you can use your true voice. And you can be confident in what you're doing, saying, how you're doing it, who you are. So that's just a little impromptu about my point of view about this whole process. And I think everything is spiritual, but I have to be honest with you. I'm pretty, like, I don't know if you want to call it down to earth. I'm pretty much about, like, hey, this is practical. And because of my journey, which I will talk about in another video, and I have talked about in some other videos, but because of that, I saw the need for practical tools for people to be able to do this. Instead of someone just saying, oh, just let it go, I was always like, well, if one more person tells me that, I don't know what's going to happen. But because you can't just let it go, like, especially if it's stuck energetically in your body. So you need to have a process, and you need to know, how can I really do this? Well, guess what? I have been able to use all of my discoveries and all of my growth and thought, okay, here's the tools. This is how we can do it. This is how you can tell when you're doing it. So if you're interested in that, please reach out, and I would love to talk more about it. So anyway, have a good day, night, or whenever you see this. Okay.